Well, here's my other Lake Superior camping spot. I got here a little late today. I actually put in quite a few miles, but this is it. It's quite splendiferous. Having a greasy old right there. Here we are. Lake Superior camp spot number 2. I was gonna go to a place by Marathon, just outside of Marathon, maybe 30, 40 miles or kilometers. But sorry about that, I shut myself off. Decided to come out here. It's nice and cool out here. Yeah, so there we are. One year I came out here, there's a little creek over there, a little creek right there, you can just kind of see it right down there. And it was full of steelhead spawning going up there and all crowded around out here. I had my fly rod out and I was casting, but they weren't interested in taking anything. So, yeah. I'm kind of near the highway, but I had to rock crawl over these rocks to get here. And down that bush, there's a little bush path over there. I had to crawl down there, turn, go over the creek, crawl over here, and then get myself nice and level over here. It was really funny. Last year I was camped here, and this older fella, he came and he said, it was so funny. He said, "Are you with the military?" I'm trying to swing this. He said, "Are you with the military? On patrol?" And I said, no, I'm just camped here. It's pretty funny. There goes the Hell's Grannies. They just went by. And they're Harley Davidsons. Yeah, Hell's Grannies. They're all over the place. You have to watch Monty Python to get that one. Anyway. Yeah, so beautiful Lake Superior. Look at the beautiful island out there. And yeah, I just got here, like I said. So, Wild Bill out for now. Beautiful Lake Superior. Okay, I had a couple of beers, so it's pet peeve time. I'll do the pet peeve with Wild Bill corner. When I was coming here, I would look behind me, and I thought for a second it could have been an Ineos Grenadier or a Defender or something, an old Defender. But I looked and it had the Mercedes symbol on it. It was a Gewunderwagen, a G-Wagon. Beautiful. It had Max tracks on the hood, all strapped down. It had solid portal axles. In other words, the axles come up high, solid. There's gears, a gear train that comes down to the wheel. So in other words, the axle can be up high, so it's got tons of ground clearance. It had that. It was a dark battleship gray color. It was absolutely stunning. I think it was on 37s. And he flew past me. I'm doing the speed limit in the Jeep, right? All loaded up, going. I looked over at him, and he's just gone. He had the stuff strapped to the side. He had these panels on the side where you can put stuff on. I mean, this thing was done up. I think he had an awning on it too. I'm not sure. I just looked at it and I went, that is the gorgeous overlanding machine. He goes flying past me, and so I don't know, an hour, 2, 3 hours later, I'm going trundling along, and I go through Terrace Bay, I think. Went through Terrace Bay, and I mean, the ground clearance this thing has because of the portal axles is unreal. This thing looks like it's just meant to go, in the desert. Overlanding extraordinaire. I look over because I was thinking, God, I hope I see that again. And guess where it was? Parked in a motel. Parked in a motel. Now maybe they had their reasons to, you know, maybe they'd been someplace, but somehow I got it because this thing was super clean. It didn't leak. You could eat off the underside of it. I think it was so clean. And so where am I? Well, I just showed you where I am. I'm camped on the rocks on Lake Superior. I rock crawled my way out here and I camped on the rocks. So, and they're, you know, these people are, you know, they had the European place. I'm assuming they're from Germany or whatever, but whatever. I mean, maybe they had a reason that they were at a motel, but I just kind of went, oh my God. Because you're in the Crown land capital of, I mean, there's 2 tracks that just go off into the bush everywhere around here. And they're in a paved parking lot motel right up at the thing. Really nice motel. In that they could be camped in a zillion places. You don't have to be a rocket scientist. There's tracks everywhere. Anyway, that's my pet peeve. You know, I don't want to say the word peeve poser, but you know, because I mean, they had all the gear, they had all the kit. This thing was, it was absolutely gorgeous. Am I jealous? Yeah, it was beautiful. Love it. I would love to have something like that. The old Jeep is fantastic. And here I am, rock crawling the old Jeep, loaded to the hilt, out on the rocks on Lake Superior. Anyhow, Wild Bill, you know, what do you think of that? Anyone out there that likes this sort of thing? What do you think of that? Out. It's very windy today. That's when I was up here. Look at that point down there. Now it's hard to see because of the fog. See, it fogged in worse. It wasn't too bad when I first came down here. It's a lookout. Of course, you got a fence here because this is a sheer cliff going down there, but it's pretty amazing how far down that is. And like I said, it's very, very windy. I've got my external mic on. There we go. It's starting to show itself a little better now. That point down there, it's actually really cool. Yeah, look at that. Still on Lake Superior. It turned into one windy, raucous night, I'll tell you. But anyway, I got my telephoto lens on. There. It's starting to show itself a little better now. This land mass out there. It keeps fogging in and out. Anyway, it's kind of a neat outlook. Neat perspective too in the fog. Fog's rolled right in here on Superior. So anyway, we just came out of some pretty crazy fog. I was up in elevation. Again, it's still in Northern Ontario along Lake Superior. And yeah, I wanted to turn the camera on to show you how foggy it was, and I just dropped out of it. Yesterday it was really interesting. I saw a really big male black bear and a gray wolf. It was just unbelievable. Unbelievable. It was a beautiful experience seeing that. The big black bear, he was a big male. He was huge. Anyway. Oh, looks like there's a bit of a bump here. Straddle that. Yes, it was an eventful morning. Almost driving into that creek. I was really side-hilled bad because I couldn't see. It was foggy. It was unbelievable. But the old Jeep got me out. I just put it in reverse and I just prayed it was going to pull me out, not sink me deeper and put me on my side. But no, it pulled me out because it was soft. I went back and I looked at it and I went, yeah, it's because I couldn't see. It was the fog and rain. It was just crazy. Yeah. was what a way to start a morning. It was pretty crazy. You don't need coffee when you got that happening. Let me flip this around. I want to flip the screen. I gotta get better use of the camera. Yeah, well, I think we're coming back into fog again. Wind. Holy mackerel. Look at these peaks here. These cliffs. Pretty unbelievable. Wow, look at those cliffs. There's fog up there. Like I said, I was up at that elevation and you couldn't see hardly anything in front of you. Getting close to Nipigon. I'm probably gonna go have breakfast in Nipigon. There's some really nice views on Lake Superior if it wasn't so foggy. Cattle taking their dogs out for a little walk. Anyway, yeah. Beautiful northern Ontario. We're going to drop down into a nice valley here. Just want to film it with a good camera. Got a little waterfall out there spurting out the side, nice. Very windy today. Very, very windy. Like I said, that fog up there was incredible. You couldn't see 20 feet in front of you. Anyway. Over real nice. So yeah, I wish I had the camera going when I saw the bear and the wolf particularly. That wolf was absolutely amazing. So anyway, Wild Bill out for now. I know I've filmed this before, but I like this. This is the Arctic Watershed, so everything from here onward flows into the Arctic Ocean from here. So that's kind of interesting. I think. Yeah. So there we are. The Arctic Watershed. It's pretty cool. I just thought I'd stop here and film this. I always do. A lot of truck traffic here. Anyway, I said I filmed this before, but I always like this. So I'm going to continue on my merry way to Ignace. I want to hit my Northwestern Ontario bush camp today if I can. Anyhow, well, Bill out for now.